In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to solve equations that have variables on both sides, and you have to simplify each side using the distributive property and combining like terms. So in order to do this, the very first thing we're going to do is draw the wall down the middle of the equation. And the next thing we're going to do is look at each side of the equation and try to simplify what's on each side. When we simplify, the first thing we're going to do is distribute. And the second thing we're going to do is combine like terms. So when we look at the left side of the equation, there is parentheses over there, so we can distribute. So we're going to do 3, we're going to distribute, the number that's on the outside of the parentheses here. So we're going to do 3 times x, which gives us 3x. And then we're going to take that number on the outside and we're going to multiply it by the second term, which is negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Bring down our equal sign, and looking at the right side of the equation, we have parentheses over here as well. So what we're going to do is circle the number in front of the parentheses, which is negative 5, and we're going to distribute that. So negative 5 times x is negative 5x, and negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15. And then we're going to bring the 4 down. So we've just distributed on both sides of the equal sign. So the next thing we're going to do is combine like terms. So if you look at the left side of the equation, we have 3x and negative 6, and those are not like terms. So there's nothing to combine there. So let's look at the right side of the equation, and on this side we do have two constants, 4 and 15. So if we put those together, 4 plus 15 is 19. I'm going to bring down the negative 5x, and then I'm going to bring everything down on the other side as well. So there's my equation. All right, so now we have variables on both sides, and we don't want variables on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate the variable that has the smallest coefficient. So on this side we have a 3, and on this side we have a negative 5. On the number line, negative 5 is further to the left than 3 is. So we are going to eliminate the negative 5. So to get rid of negative 5, we're going to add 5x to both sides. So on the left here, 3x plus 5x gives us 8x minus 6 equals, these cancel, and we get 19. All right, so the next step, now it's just a two-step equation. So we're going to solve for our x here. So the furthest thing away is the minus 6, so I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So we get 8x equals 19 plus 6 is 25. And then the final step, we are going to divide both sides by 8. So x equals, and if I set up my long division over here, 8 goes into 25 3 times, so my big number is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract, and we have a remainder of 1 over the denominator stays the same, which is 8. So the answer is 3 1/8. All right, taking a look at our next equation, we're going to do the same thing. So first I'm going to draw my wall, and now I need to simplify each side of the equation by distributing first if I can. So on the left side of the equation here, there are no parentheses, so I can't distribute there. On the right side of the equation, I do have parentheses, so I do need to distribute. In front of the parentheses, there is no number directly in front here. So I'm going to put a 1 in front of here, and then I'm going to distribute this negative 1. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x, and negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. So that should have been a minus 5x. Erase this here. All right, so that should be a minus 5x. All right, so on the left side, I'm just going to copy everything else down. All right, so now we've distributed. So the next thing we're going to do is combine like terms if we can. Again, on the left side of the equation, we have a 2x and a negative 7x. Since the signs are different, we're going to subtract, and we get 5, and we have more negatives, so it's negative 5x. And then I'm going to bring my 6 down. On the right-hand side, we have a negative 1x and a negative 5x. So when we put those together, we get a negative 6x. And then we also have an 8 and a plus 3, which when we combine, we get 11. So now we've simplified both sides, and we do have variables on both sides. We have the negative 5x and the negative 6x. Okay, so I do want to eliminate my smallest, the variable with the smallest coefficient. So on the number line, negative 6 is further, on the number line, negative 6 is further to the left. So I'm going to get rid of the negative 6 by adding 6 to both sides. 6x to both sides. Negative 5x plus 6x is 1x. I'm going to bring down the plus 6 equals, these cancel and I get 11. Now it's just a regular two-step equation. So to solve for x, I'm going to get rid of the plus 6 by subtracting 6 from each side. So we get 1x equals 5. And 1x is the same as x, so the answer is x equals 5. All right, one more example. So again, the first thing we're going to do is draw the wall. And if we can, we need to distribute. So on the left-hand side, we have parentheses, so we do need to distribute. I'm going to circle the number on the outside. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x, and negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. On the right-hand side, I also have parentheses, and there's no number in front of the parentheses there. So I need to put a 1 in its place, and I'm going to distribute this negative 1. So negative 1 times negative 4x is negative 4x, and negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. And then I'm going to bring down the negative 4x here. All right, so after we distribute, we need to combine like terms. On the left-hand side, we have negative 6x and negative 14, and those are not like terms. So there's nothing to combine over there. On the right-hand side, we have negative 4x and negative 4x. So these are like terms. Negative 4 and negative 4, we're going to add because the signs are the same, and we get negative 8x. And I'm going to bring down the plus 2. And then I'm going to bring everything down on this side as well. Okay, so now we have variables on both sides of the equal sign. So what we want to do is eliminate the variable that's furthest to the left on the number line. So again, if you picture your number line, what would be further to the left, negative 6 or negative 8? Negative 8 would be further to the left. So I'm going to get rid of the negative 8x by adding 8x to both sides. Negative 6x and positive 8x, they're different signs, so we're going to subtract and we get 2x. We have more positive, so it says positive 2x. Bring down the minus 14. On this side, negative 8x and positive 8x equals 0, so that cancels. And I'm going to bring down my 2. All right, so now we have just a regular two-step equation, so we want to get our x alone, so we're going to move away what's furthest from the variable first. So I'm going to get rid of the minus 14 by adding 14 to both sides. So we get 2x equals 2 plus 14 is 16. And then the final step would be to undo this multiplication by dividing both sides by 2. So x equals 8. So there is our solution.